If you've made it this far, don't stop now. Because what happened next was captured on a police body camera. And the footage has never been publicly explained. At exactly 3:13 a.m., two Ethan Carters walked out of apartment 407. Only one of them was human. The other one was smiling. And no one could tell the difference. The bedroom door slammed shut with a deafening bang. The copy of Ethan stood motionless at the foot of the bed. It wore the same clothes. The same frightened expression. Even the scar on Ethan's left hand was identical. Then it smiled. "You've been running long enough," it whispered. "The life you have belongs to me now." Ethan backed toward the window, gripping the broken flashlight like a weapon. "You aren't real." The copy laughed. "I wasn't. Until you looked behind you." The room became unnaturally cold. The walls began to tremble. Every mirror in the apartment cracked at once, and from each broken reflection, dark hands slowly reached outward. Ethan realized the shadow had never wanted to kill him. It wanted something far worse. It wanted to take his place. Somewhere deep in the hallway, footsteps echoed closer. Slow, steady, and impossible to stop. Part 3. The final night. The pounding on the apartment door grew louder. Bang. 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 "Ethan! Open the door," a voice shouted from the hallway. It sounded exactly like a police officer. But the thing standing in front of Ethan smiled. "Don't answer it," the copy whispered. "It isn't the police." Ethan's mind raced. One voice told him to open the door. The other warned him not to. He didn't know which one was lying. Then, the lights flickered back on. For one brief second, Ethan saw something that made his blood freeze. The copy had no shadow. Instead, its shadow was standing behind Ethan. Watching. Waiting. The room suddenly filled with freezing air. Every shattered mirror on the floor began reflecting scenes Ethan had never lived. In one reflection, he was an old man living alone. In another, he was a child crying in a dark hallway. In another, he was dead. The copy slowly stepped closer. "I don't steal lives," it said calmly. "I steal choices. You've been making every decision I wanted you to make. Moving here. Looking behind you. Watching the recording. Everything." Ethan shook his head. "No." The copy smiled wider. "Even now. You're exactly where I wanted you." The apartment walls trembled. The ceiling cracked. Dark smoke poured through the fractures like black water. Suddenly, the pounding on the front door stopped. Complete silence. Then a new sound echoed through the apartment. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Coming from the hallway. But there was no one there. One by one, the lights burned out again. The only light left came from the moon outside the bedroom window. The copy looked toward the darkness. "It has arrived." Ethan frowned. "What do you mean, it?" For the first time, the copy looked afraid. A deep growl. From somewhere inside the walls. Not human. Not animal. Something ancient. The entire building shook violently. Pictures fell from the walls. The floor split open. From the darkness below, hundreds of black hands reached upward. The copy whispered, "We're both too late." Ethan realized the horrifying truth. The shadow that had followed him was never the real monster. It had only been running from something much worse. The ending. The black hands crawled out of the crack in the floor like living spiders. The apartment walls groaned as if the entire building were alive. Ethan stumbled backward, unable to breathe. The shadow copy didn't move. For the first time, it looked terrified. It found us, the copy whispered. The deep growl echoed again. A massive figure slowly rose from the darkness. It had no face. No eyes. Its body was made of endless moving shadows. Where its mouth should have been. Hundreds of human whispers escaped at once. Every whisper spoke the same words. Come home. The shadow copy turned toward Ethan. You still have one choice. What choice? Ethan shouted. If it takes me, you live. If it takes you, it wears your face forever. The creature reached out with an arm that stretched across the room. The apartment began collapsing around them. Glass exploded. The ceiling crashed down. Ethan closed his eyes. Then he remembered something Mr. Collins had said. It doesn't haunt places, it haunts people. He understood. The monster survived because people kept running from it. Someone had to stop running. Ethan stepped forward. I'm here. The creature stopped. The whispers fell silent. Every shadow in the room rushed toward Ethan like a black ocean. The copy smiled sadly. Thank you. It dissolved into smoke. The darkness swallowed Ethan completely. Then, everything became silent. 3 days later, police entered apartment 407. The apartment looked untouched. No broken walls. No shattered mirrors. No sign anyone had ever lived there. Only one thing remained. A small digital camera. The detective pressed play. The final recording showed Ethan standing alone in his bedroom. He looked directly into the camera. If anyone finds this, don't be afraid of the dark. Be afraid. When the darkness knows your name. The video ended with static. Then, for less than a second, another face appeared behind Ethan. Smiling. The building was demolished a month later. Apartment 407 no longer exists. But people driving past the empty lot still report seeing a lone man standing there after midnight. He never speaks. He never moves. He only watches. Waiting for someone to look behind them. So before you leave this video, take one last look at your shadow. If it moves. Before you do, don't turn around. Because once you notice it, it will notice you. And it never stops following.